All right. So I had this morning I had recorded a piece, regarding Jimi Hendrix's death and the circumstances surrounding that. And essentially, the piece is an argument that Hendrix died because the society is racist, and that racism puts pressures on individuals that over determine the rates of suicide, murder, criminalization, poverty, so-called mental illness, post-traumatic stress disorder, alcoholism, addiction, and it does this through multiple ways, and some of those ways involve repeated violent traumatizations. Some of those ways involve sorting. Some of those ways involve lack of economic and educational opportunity. Some of those ways involve a distorted criminal justice system that overrepresents individuals of color, disabled individuals, individuals with cognitive differences, individuals with traumatic past histories, early life trauma, etc., etc., etc. And I promised to talk about an incident that occurred sometime around, and I probably have the year wrong. Let's use the conceptual construct plus or minus one, but plus or minus 1 year around 1980, in which I experienced some kind of chemical overdose, and I had been drinking, whether it was entirely alcohol or whether someone had given me some other drug, I'm not entirely certain, but I lost consciousness and and found myself the next day elsewhere, and I had limited memory of what happened in the time of my unresponsiveness. But, I had some memory of being gagged. I think that I had probably experienced, some kind of, convulsive vomiting and maybe the individuals in the social situation that I was in decided that, if something was placed in my mouth, that would I would maybe create less of a mess for them. So one way into, remembering and connecting with this is I thought, maybe I would imagine a similar kind of note that Eric Burden and Danneman claim to have found and posited as Jimi Hendrix's suicide note, although that was later sort of recanted and ruled out as, not really a possibility. So I had thought, maybe I would imagine, if I hadn't survived, I didn't receive any medical care or treatment for the drug overdose. So, my survival was, some people would call it chance, lucky, or something else. I've explained before that my thinking regarding, both the social universe and the physical universe involves various formulations of the idea of overdetermination, that nothing ever happens for one reason, but things never happen entirely by accident either. So, we will never understand the mechanics and meanings of the universe to the extent that we could determine what will happen in a precise form. But the more that we understand, the more that we can predict. And some people are better at seeing and finding patterns than others, right? One definition of a prophet could just be, someone who's really good at reading patterns of history and experience and the flow of time, right? Most prophets, suffer pretty devastating fates. That's just sort of interesting. So people pretend to like the idea of, the visionary, but in practice, really not so much. But back more to the point, I wanted to somehow, connect my experience with Hendrix' experience and talk about that. And I thought, one way in would be maybe imagining that, I had died, and then, just like with Hendrix, this note shows up that, in this instance, I would have written this note. So I'm going to imagine writing this note for whoever would have found it. It might have been one of my friends. It might have been Matthew Rothenberg. It might have been John Kieschnick. It might have been someone else. So I'll just, I'll give it a go and see what comes up. I'm going to have to let Leo outside first, though. Okay, so the note they found for Hendrix was called My Life Story, and I'll call this one, in honor of Jimi Hendrix, I'll call this Hear My Train. All right. Let's see. Dearest friends, at the station, I shall shortly leave behind. Because I hear my train coming. Because I hear my Jesus train. They're coming. From on high. Let's see. Can't. Can't rightly say why. I feel it's better. Say goodbye. Can't rightly say why. Feel it's better. Stuck here because I set myself up for live then die, but really I'm trying to, in this note, offer a rationale for my demise. I feel it's better to how about oh, better to live in heaven than to die life away. Inside. I'm not going to try to be a very good poet because, not because I was this poor a poet, at 14 or 15 or however old I was, but because no real effort seemed to be put into the note that was created for Hendrix, so we'll use that as a model. Can't rightly say why. I feel it's better to live in heaven than to die life away inside. Do some repetition. Dearest friends, at the station, as I board that train up to the sky. in here. My train departing. Let's see. And because I see my dear friend Jesus, and because I see my good friend Jesus, I hope nobody tries. Please excuse my handwriting. My handwriting. Make it authentic. Please excuse my handwriting and all the spelling errors therein. I know when I see my good friend Jesus, he's gonna smile and offer me a perfect handwriting pen. I won't have no more troubles on the waves. Through the storms. Life. I won't see no more disappointment. And I won't see no more how about marginalia on pages of trouble and strife. If our last party celebration of the lizard of id didn't inspire my hopes and dreams of the future and the promises made so facto de jure and pro quit. All right, so this is going to be my note, and I'll give it a quick read from the top, see if it needs any revision. I personally don't think it needs any revision, but we'll see. I think there's plenty of rhyme, there's plenty of structure, there's variations in the line length, there's some graphic accounting of some of the difficulties that I have in handwriting. There's plenty of references to Jimi Hendrix. There's a bunch of Jesus, and I think I have great expectations for this particular suicide note, and we're going to assign the discovery of this note to my old friend John Kieschnick. So he'll have discovered this note and submitted it to the local authorities or whoever is relevant. And okay, so here's the title. Hear my train a-comin'. Dearest friends, at the station I shall shortly leave behind, 'cause I hear my train a-comin', 'cause I hear my Jesus train a-comin' from on high. Can't rightly say why I feel it's better to say goodbye. Can't rightly say why I feel it's better to live in heaven than to die life away inside. Dearest friends at the station, as I board that train up to the sky, I can hear my train departing, and because I see my dear friend Jesus, I hope nobody cries. Please excuse my bad handwriting and all the spelling errors therein. I know when I see my good friend Jesus, he's gonna smile and offer me a perfect handwriting pen. I won't have no more troubles on the waves and through the storms of life. I won't see no more marginalia on the pages of trouble and strife. I guess our last party, the celebration of the lizard of id, didn't inspire my hopes and dreams of the future and the promises made ipso facto, de jure, and pro quid. So it's perfect, basically.